Hey, good morning, good afternoon, guys. It's Tammy, and I'm going to ask you a question here, and you're going to tell me which group you'd rather be in. So the title of today is, Would You Rather? There's two groups. Would you rather join Group A that has 85 people in it? So I can't type today, my fingers are a little cold. Or Group B, 15 people. Let's post that. It's a bit ambiguous, I agree. But I'm going to bring that to light in a wee little bit, just a little bit. Today I'm talking about toxic workplace behaviors, signs of a toxic workplace behavior. And we're at number 11, I think we're at number 11 already. Out of 15, I'm talking about a total of 15 over the course. Oh, we're at number 12, I'm just pulling out my document. And the sign here is when people are always sick. So again, which group would you like to be in? The group of 85 people or the group of 15? It's kind of relevant to what's going on in today's workplace. Let me grab my mic. I'm not sure which one I selected today. Anyways, if you're joining me, please pop in, say hello, because I know I'm popping into the middle of your day. Send me some comments there. I'm going to pull it up on my phone here so I can see you as well. I think that's the hope anyways, that if there's a comment, I don't miss it. And where is it? Gosh, these pages have so much stuff on it. Okay, there we go. Just turn down the volume of that. Perfect. So we're talking today about when people are always sick in a workplace. Now, perhaps if you're just joining a new work site and you don't know this, you can ask some questions in the interview process. If you're an employer and you're looking to identify if there are issues around workplace toxicity, I'll give you some numbers you can look at. And if you're an employee that's been in a work site for a long time and maybe you're starting to feel the effects, I'm going to give you some strategies. So first of all, let's just talk about stress in the workplace. Like, it always exists every day, even on a good day, between relationships and in the workplace. And sometimes stress can actually motivate us to perform better, be more productive, and we get a real sense of accomplishment. Like trying to get this video ready for 12 o'clock, I'm a little late. I was feeling a little stressed, but it made me focus on the task, right? So sometimes stress in the workplace is good and healthy. But if you're starting to have feelings of fatigue, you're really tired, maybe depression, your mood is kind of like tanked into the boots, and you're starting to have physical symptoms, maybe your stomach is upset and you're getting these tension headaches and you're not sleeping really well, either just the thought of going to work or physically going to work makes you feel this way, that's a sign that you work in a toxic workplace. Now, I've been there. I got a lot of personal experience with this one, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to share with you today, but I definitely am quite an open book, and we'll see where today's conversation goes. All right, if you have questions, don't forget you can always pop them in there. And I love to hear from you, so don't be shy. All right, so little stress, good. Lots of stress, bad. So if you're wondering if you're dealing with a toxic workplace, like, we are real quick to rationalize things away. Maybe we've been short-staffed at work and it's easy just to say, oh, I'm feeling tired because I'm working so much. It's easy to say, I'm not excited to go to work because I know we're going to be short-staffed today. It's easy to think that these physical symptoms, the lack of sleep, is because of all the stress I'm feeling at work and this is just a short-term thing. We rationalize away really, really well, and we don't actually pay attention to what our body is telling us all the time. So here's a quick check-in with yourself. First of all, question number one is, how am I sleeping? Am I sleeping through the night like I usually do? Normal amount, whatever that is for you. For some people, it's 4 hours. Other people, it's 10 hours. How am I sleeping? And if you're recognizing a pattern of disruption, this may be connected to the stress of the workplace that's just consuming you a little bit more than it should. Number two is, am I eating more or less than usual? Now, I can do either side of that personally. When I'm stressed, I can binge eat and end up wanting to buy all the junk food, the chips, the chocolate, and things like that. Or I can go completely opposite and I have zero appetite. What's important to note is that this is not your normal. Okay, so sleep, when it's changed, eating habits, when that is changed. And the third one is, do I feel safe? If you don't feel safe, boy, this topic, let me tell you. I was bullied in the workplace, and you know what? Right now, I'm feeling my dry throat kind of come back just thinking about where I was and that time frame that I spent underneath my bully and the toxicity in that workplace. I feel that right now, and sometimes it blindsides me and takes me by surprise as to when the symptoms come up. So I'm talking very specifically about symptoms that I had, and I'm sharing with you the symptoms to watch for. So I guess I'm not totally surprised that I'm starting to feel the dry throat. I shall try to take a breath. Calm down. Do you feel safe? That's the third question. If there is any doubt about your safety, that's a serious concern, and I'm going to give you some things that you can start to put into place to protect yourself. So when we are just simply, let's just go back to the first scenario where there's a little bit of stress. Maybe somebody is absent today because they're not feeling well. Because we know that when we are stressed, that our bodies become weaker, our immune system becomes weaker, and we're more susceptible to things that are going on in the workplace. Fair enough. Perhaps my sick days or my need to be at home today is really just simply a result of a little bit of stress. But when we start to see accumulating use of sick days, accumulating use of stress leaves, short-term disability, long-term disability, when the productivity starts to tank in the workplace, when the grievances start to go up, when the revolving door starts and all of our staff are leaving, those are signs you have a toxic workplace. So if you're an employer watching this, you can look at your numbers. How many sick days are being used? What departments? So actually break down the department to see where the biggest offenders are. How many people are on stress leave, short-term and long-term disability? Where are my grievances coming from, both the number and the nature? What is the usage of our employee assistance program, and is my premium going up? Because you'll experience increasing rates when the usage goes up. What is my turnover, and where's my productivity losses? So am I having to hire in more staff to cover off losses? Is the productivity so bad that I'm losing reputation in the community and I'm getting less sales? Where are those losses? Real hard data that you can gather to determine if you've got a toxic workplace. People may never come to you. If you're the boss, people may never even come to you and let you know that they're struggling because there's a barrier between you and that employee, or maybe even your middle level manager and you, there's somebody else in between, and you'll never know until you start to look at your numbers. So what do you do if you are feeling that this could be related to a toxic workplace? The first thing you need to do is take care of you. Primary purpose is to take care of you. This might involve talking to somebody, a trusted friend, a counselor, a physician, just someone that you can trust that's going to be real with you. You need to know that the person you're chatting with is going to be able to decipher between what is, normal stress and what is unusual amounts of stress. And if the symptoms you're sharing are connected to the toxic workplace. You don't need someone who's just going to go, rah, rah, yes, I believe everything you say. That's no help for you. You want someone who's really going to be critically thinking with you. You may need to seek out a physician for some medical management. So I'll share that when I was going through mine, I was not sleeping. I was not eating. And I was rationalizing away really hard because I did not want to be sick. I did not want to give in to the bully and let them win. That's kind of my mindset at the time. So by the time I went to the doctor, multiple stress leaves, I think I had a total of 4 in the 2 years in which I've started to actually seek help. It was a 4-year ordeal altogether. But in those last 2 years, 4 stress leaves, each one progressively longer, each one requiring progressively more interventions. Counseling, absolutely. I have great value for counseling. However, I will share it's pretty one-sided, right? There is no ownership for the bully or the harasser who's creating a toxic environment to come to counseling, to attend counseling on their own, or to change, because they have no ill effects. So counseling is great for an individual to get their mindset set, but it is not the answer in terms of a toxic workplace. Definitely did a lot of counseling because I value that for a personal level. And they are also going to maybe consider medications. So I did accept medications for sleep because I knew that the lack of sleep was interfering with my ability to function in the day. Now, as a mother, as a wife, as a community member, a volunteer, and a worker in a hospital, wow, that was massive, right? I sat there on the couch, a shell, like a figure, but there was no connection with me to the outside world. My son did whatever he wanted to. My husband was away at work, and I just sat there getting so absorbed in my thoughts that would never stop. It's part of the reason I couldn't sleep. So I did take medications for sleep, and I accepted a prescription for antidepressants, but I didn't take it because I was still holding on to hope that something might change in the workplace. And for me, I'm an upstream thinker. I want to solve the problem and not put a Band-Aid on the issue. And antidepressants for me represented a Band-Aid to the issue. Did I need them? Hell, I probably did. Was I too stubborn to accept it? Hell, I probably was, right? But there was a day, and I remember this one quite vividly. I had gotten out of the shower and I'm getting ready to go to work for my 4 hours. I'm on a return to work program. And I just started to tremble. And I started to cry. And all I was simply doing was standing in my room, in my towel, looking at my closet where my uniform was hanging. I was so afraid to go to work. I had fear of getting out of the house and into the car and driving to work. It wasn't just about the workplace. It was every journey I had to take to get there. I couldn't muster up the courage anymore to get dressed and go there and fight to prove that I was not what my harasser said I was. That was the day that I accepted the antidepressants. Now, I will say that the pills actually delivered them to my house. My colleague was a pharmacist. She brought them right to my house. Loved that she did that, but I remember the look on her face when I opened the door. I must have looked really bad. So a physician can help you with medical management, hormone imbalances, sleep imbalances. Maybe there's nutritional imbalances that they can help you to recover. So that's something you need to put into a priority for yourself. So talking to someone and seeing a physician. Seeking a counselor, I mentioned that one as well. Those are 3 things. The last thing I want to share with you is self-care. If you're feeling the physical effects and the emotional effects, psychological effects of a workplace that is toxic, and I wonder if I can share my screen with you. I do have some stats to show you how prevalent this is. Like, you are not alone. I don't see that option as it's live. It looks like I have to select that before I come live. That's too bad. Let me just check here up on these. That's it. Okay, I can't show you my screen, but I did print it out to show you. I'm going to put this in the Conquer Conflict group. I'll give you this bullying by the numbers as well. This was produced last year in 2019. I do a lot of talks on workplace bullying. But here's why I asked you if you wanted to be in the group of 85 or 15. Now, this is healthcare related. So 86% of nurses will witness or experience workplace bullying behaviors or bully-like behaviors. There is a difference on a regular basis. I don't want to be part of that 85% group. No way. It costs $145,000 to replace one employee. So when a nurse leaves or a healthcare worker leaves your agency, we're looking at the costs of onboarding, offboarding, training, all the soft costs that come with getting their badges and IDs and their keys and things like that, as well as their sick time and replacement costs, $145,000 per person. I don't know about you, but I could do a lot with that money. It's a $3.6 billion loss in productivity annually. Massive. Now here's some other stats. I'll just leave that. I'm going to put that in the group for you so you can see it. There's more stats on there, but how to identify a bully culture. We talked about some of those signs: increasing absenteeism, decreasing productivity, retention rates are are low, turnover is high, benefit utilization, and there's a few others on there that you can access. But self-care, let's come back to self-care now for a second. Sorry, let me just grab my document. I want to make sure I'm not squirreling off somewhere. I tend to do that. So self-care, so important. When I was going through my journey, I know the benefits of exercise, both physically and mentally, and I needed the mental boost because my hormones, my stress hormones, my cortisol had been elevated for so long that I was no longer able to feel joy at all. All I could feel was fear and uncertainty. So I pushed myself to go to the gym and take an exercise class every day. I hated it. I didn't enjoy it. I went to the back of the class, which is not my normal. I'm typically front of the class, like leading, helping others figure out the steps, you know, like a, I'm trying to think of, like a step class. That's it. That's what it was, a step class or a jazzercise class or something. I'm usually at the front, but I pushed myself to go there, and the best I could do was get in the door and stay at the back because I needed an escape route, and I didn't want people to see me leaving should I not be able to finish the class. A little bit of ego saving there, right? And what I noticed is over several weeks, I was starting to then feel a little bit better. I persevered because I knew the benefit. I persevered because I knew my body needed it. I was so desperate for something to make me feel happy. And then I started to feel better about myself, but I was noticing I was moving up from the last row to the middle of the class, and I'd stay there for a while. And then once I got back to the front of the class, I knew I had finally beat it. I knew it was still going to be a process. It doesn't just come and go overnight, but I knew I had beat the devil that was inside of me, and I was able to continue forward on a path of healing and recovery, which is the path I am still on today. It never leaves you. So self-care is certainly a live blooper, certainly important for you to make sure you're putting yourself as a priority, and so that you don't get stuck in that group of 85% of people who are witnessing it and experiencing it. But instead, that 15% group, I wanted to let you know that 15% group, that's the small percentage. It's actually 5 to 15%, depending on where you work, are the ones who do find their voice, are able to speak up, create healthy boundaries, and reduce the negative impact and the frequency, massively reduce the frequency of workplace bullying. If you want more information, definitely join my Facebook group, Conquer Conflict. You can also go to conquerconflict.com. There is a free tips sheet there, and once you get into the free tip sheet, you're going to see how I 10x'd my own confidence. Now, listen, I'm a pretty confident girl, but after that, I needed a little bit of work. So you can see how I 10x'd my confidence to speak up without sacrificing my career, because let me tell you, if you don't do the work, bullies will always reappear. And I'm here to help you do the work so you never have to go through what I did, first of all. And if you did go through it, I want to help bully-proof you so you never have to go through it again. Well, guys, I see no questions. So I'm going to sign off. Thanks for joining. And when you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay in there so I know, let me know where you're watching from. And I hope to see you inside the group. Take care, guys. Make it a great day.